So today you join us in Belgium, where we're taking a look at the hockey saucer kit versus the hockey saucer toss. Both of these companies are renowned for showing their products being used in the summer on the sand, but where we live, we don't have a lot of sun or sand. So we wanted to show you that both of these products can be used pretty much wherever you live. Right now we're on a canal, on what our inline friends from Hockey Tutorial call a veerpunt, which is this floating thing that you use the wheel behind me to cross the canal over, and we're sourcing between the land and this thing that we're floating on, and it's a lot of fun. You can use these things pretty much wherever you want. So we're going to be showing you the pros and cons of both of these products to help you decide which one you'd prefer, and maybe to figure out which one's better than the other. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's take a look. So after having the awesome opportunity to test both of these products out, first things first, they're incredibly addictive. They're awesome for barbecues, get-togethers with friends or family. It doesn't even matter if the people that you're meeting up with don't like hockey. Anyone that has had a go of these things that I know has been addicted and has had fun. So props to the people that made these things. Hockey saucer kit and sauce toss, fantastic jobs. But of course, no product is without its negatives. So we're going to start off with the sauce toss and take a look at some of the cons. First one is going to be the size and the weight. Now that might not seem like a big deal, but if you're going to be moving this thing around, walking a lot with it strapped to your chest, or if you're going to be holding it in your arms, you're going to start to feel the burn after you've been holding it for a while. This thing's not light, which means transporting it and trying to be portable with this thing is going to be a bit tricky. Another point is also the fact that it's made up of a lot of different pieces. It has the external goal that I'm going to refer to that as, this big one over here, and also the smaller internal goal. It means that when you set this thing up, you drop it down, you have to unstrap all of these goals, you have to plug them in, move away the straps, and then fold it up before you get ready to pack it away. That gets a bit tedious if you're going to be using this thing a lot, if you're going to be moving around different places having fun with it. Another point is the fact that it's raised off of the ground, and hopefully you'll be able to see that quite clearly over here. That means that if you're going to be using this as an inline goal, off the ice for roller hockey, inline hockey, whatever you call it, or even pond hockey, you need to account for the fact that it's raised off of the ground. It can get quite annoying, because when we're sourcing pucks, sometimes we'd clip the edge and the puck would bounce straight up into the air. And also, if you're going to be using official ice hockey pucks with this thing, rather than the very lightweight rubber ones, this center goal over here can be a bit flimsy. If you hit it directly with a puck, this can pop out on occasions and you have to stop what you're doing, plug it back in before you can start playing again. Another point's also going to be the attention to detail. When you look at some of the screws and the finishings on the sauce toss, you'd expect them to be finished to a little bit of a higher standard. You can see some screws exposed, the straps don't look very secure, although they haven't broken yet. It's just you'd expect everything to be finished off to a little bit of a high standard. That's just a point that some of the guys that we've been playing with noticed earlier on today. Now moving on to the hockey saucer kit. This one over here, the first con is also going to be a two-parter, but you'll see what we mean by that later on, and that's going to be the weight of this thing. Because it's incredibly light, it means that if you use real pucks with it, every time a puck hits this thing, it shifts, which means you have to stop what you're doing after you've been shooting a few pucks into it, reset its position, and then keep going, which can get very annoying, tedious again. And another point is, if you're going to be using real pucks and you hit the crossbar or you fire a puck in there quite viciously or quite hard, that can happen. The door closes. It gets kind of annoying because you have to stop what you're doing, drop it back out so you can keep playing. Also, the straps that you use to carry this thing, they can also be really temperamental as well. We've had instances where we've had to retie these things 3 or 4 times, especially if you might have seen the London video that we shot earlier on this month. That was one of the issues that we had with this thing. Straps keep coming off. One of the last points is going to be the bolts along the sides that hold the panel in. What happens is you have to constantly check these things to make sure that they're tightened up quite well, because a lot of the times we'd leave this thing in the garden after playing with it, move it away to another location, and then when we'd set it up, we'd see that one of the bolts was missing, so the panel would be loose and it wouldn't be able to support the weight of the pucks and cradle them into the goal. So that's another point. It'd be good to see them create in a much more secure way of tightening these sides, just so you don't have to worry about them so much. And the final con was the shooting boards. With the hockey saucer kit, it's partnered up with one of these shooting boards, and that's what you use to have your stick on when you're shooting. Personally, we didn't like the idea of having to carry 2 separate pieces. It gets quite annoying. We'd prefer to only have to carry this and our stick, which is why we use these things with the hockey wraparounds. It's definitely recommended that hockey saucer kit maybe create some sort of package where you can pick up one of these or 2 of these with a hockey wraparound instead of having to grab one of these. It makes it even more portable, just like the London video that we showed you earlier on. We were moving these hockey saucer kits around the London Underground in central London, which is incredibly congested, very tight for space. We could not have done it if we had the sauce toss with us, and we couldn't have done it if we had the shooting boards with us. That's why we had the hockey saucer kit goals and the hockey wraparounds, made it nice and easy to move around. So the first con that we discussed with this one, I said it was a two-parter. That was the weight. It's because that also makes it fantastic for being able to carry this thing around with you. Because it's so lightweight, it makes it nice and portable, just like we said previously. We also love the fact that if you do away with the shooting pad and you only have the hockey wraparound with it, it means that you're only carrying this goal, which is nice and small. You can just throw it over your shoulder like a bag, and your stick. It means you can take it pretty much anywhere that you like. I mean, we're in Belgium right now and we were sourcing with one of these things on top of a tank. How many people can say they sourced on top of a tank? It makes it nice and easy to do things like that, so it's pretty cool. We also really like the fact that this thing's really small, but it's also surprisingly durable. Excluding the bolts that we covered earlier on, the actual structure, the metal framing, the plastic pads over here, and also, it might seem like a little thing, but the logo in the center there. This thing's been abused by all kinds of pucks, balls, even steel balls. The logo's not scratched, it's not been rubbed off or disappeared. Those kind of things we like to see. It just shows attention to detail, which is always appreciated. We also like the fact that this thing can be used as an inline or roller goal for if you're playing off the ice, just like we are right now. And you can also use it for pond hockey goals, which makes it, again, nice and easy to move around because you don't have those massive goals or having to create goals out of your bags or whatever you bring with you to the pond. So a lot of positives that we liked with this one over here. So hopefully that's given you a bit more information about the hockey saucer kit. Moving on to the sauce toss. Now what we liked about this thing is because of its weight and its size and the way it's been constructed, it's nice and solid. It means that if it's the sort of thing that you want to set up, leave it in your garden and it's always there for you to use, no problems. The goals itself, they don't bend, the netting is nice and strong. It's good to see that this thing's not going to fall apart after you've only had it for a little bit of time. We also like the fact that, again, it's one construction after you set it up. It's not a separate board and a goal. It's nice and easy to move around once you've actually got it all plugged up, and it means that you don't have to take more than one piece with you once the thing's actually been set up, because the goal and the pad are all in one. We also really like the fact that it had the outer goal, the larger one you can see here, and also the smaller inner goal. It adds a much greater level of competition and sort of a drive, because you want to be aiming for that smaller pocket over there. It's much smaller than any of the other sort of off-ice goals that you might be able to see, like with the saucer kit on my left-hand side over here. So that adds a little bit more of a challenging aspect to it, because it means if you're hitting that corner pocket, the center one, much more often than this one over here, you're going to be working on your accuracy, you're going to be working on your sourcing, multiple skills that you're developing while you're having fun playing a game, which is always a bonus. We really love that kind of stuff. So hopefully this has given you a bit more information about these two to help your decision between either of these a little bit easier to make. It really comes down to 2 points, portability and weight. We'll let you guys figure out which one's going to be more appropriate for what you want to use it for. If you want more information, there'll be a link down below in the video description. We're also going to have a coupon code that we'll post down below for you to check out. So if once you figured out which one you want, you can check out with our coupon code. Save you guys a bit of cash. Go higher rather than lower. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, also on Snapchat, which is new. All the links down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more content like this. And take care till next time, guys.